The second dumbest single mom I've ever met in my life. That is the topic of tonight's coaching video. And just to preface, I covered a similar video about 2 or 3 years ago, back in 2022, when I met the number one dumbest single mom I've ever met in my life. And I think this one might actually take the cake. So this happened to a very close friend of mine. He's actually in my entrepreneurs group. Okay, very successful guy. He's like a year older than me. Rich, handsome, good looking, also has a Lamborghini. Seems like a lot of us have Lamborghinis these days. Has 2 homes. He gets younger women. So it's not like he's not getting younger women. He is getting younger women. A few months back, we're having one of our monthly entrepreneur groups and meetings. He comes up to me, he goes, "Hey Matt, I got to tell you about this new girl I'm dating. Don't hold this against me, but first of all, she's my age." I'm like, "Okay, so she's 54. Why are you dating a 54-year-old woman?" And he's like, "And second of all, she's a single mom." I'm like, no. What have I told you guys over and over? No. He's like, "No, wait, hear me out. She's not like them." Oh my gosh. You guys who come to me with your stories and tell me about how the single mom you met is not like the ones I talk about on my channel. And then she ends up being just exactly that. I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, even though I know what's going to happen here. Before he even started really dating her. At this time, he had just met her, right? He was very excited about her. And he says, "Is it cool if I bring her to the next meeting? I really want you to meet her." I'm like, do what you want to. I already knew what I was dealing with here. I didn't need to meet the woman. I already knew what I'm dealing with here. When you tell me single mom, 54 years old, still doesn't have a man, divorced, I already know what I'm dealing with. Are there some decent people out there that happen to be single moms and divorced and, whatnot? Of course. However, that is a very, very, very tiny minority. The majority, and I'm talking like 99% of the single moms that I meet out there, demonstrate the same patterns of behavior. If not initially, she will at some point very early on, and you will see them, as he did. The next meeting comes along, he brings her, and he introduces her to me. He's like, "Hey, Matt, this is her. This is the girl that I just met, that I started dating." I mean, I'm always pretty polite when I meet somebody, but it's hard for me to hide my disdain. Because it's not like I'm meeting her, casually, whatever. He's introducing me. A good friend of mine, like a brother, is introducing me to a woman that he is going to bring into his life. When I know myself, he's rich, he's successful, he has status, he's worked hard in life. He doesn't need her. He gets younger women. What is the point of this? Before I even tell you what happened when he introduced her to me, he forewarned me that he's like, "Hey, because of you, I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to let this woman get my heart. I'm not going to get emotionally involved yet. I'm going to take a step back and observe her because I know that's what you would want me to do." I'm like, "Well, yeah, what I would want you to do is just not date her at all. But, sometimes just like a child, you got to put your hand near the stove and get burned to realize that when you put your hand near the stove, you get burned." So he introduces her to me. I don't want to say it because I did meet her. Let's just say Maria. He goes, "Yeah, this is Maria." And she is like, "Oh, are you the one with the channel? Are you the one on YouTube?" Because it's my group, right? He knows what I do. Already, I feel this hostility because of my content. So she's telling me, "Yeah, I watched some of your videos after you told me that this is your group. I wanted to see what you were about. And he says he's really good friends with you. So I want to know what you're about as well. I saw your videos." Because I've dealt with so many single moms, I have a very low threshold for being apologetic or defending my content. At this point, I don't care what you think. I get thousands of angry hate mail from single moms, divorced women, women over 30, who despise my content. I've been getting these type of hate emails ever since I've been on YouTube. How long has it been? 12, 13 years? It's gonna be 14. It doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, I'm just like a rock at this point. Nothing you say is gonna affect me. The nasty messages, the ad hominems, the personal attacks, character attacks, because that's usually what they are. Attack my looks, my clothes, dumb person, whatever, my hair, whatever you want to attack. One thing they have never been able to call me in all these years of being on YouTube is a liar. All these single moms, all these divorced women, all these women over 30, one thing they cannot call me is a liar. Anyway, she's like, "Yeah, you're the one with the YouTube videos and everything." I just looked at her like, "Yeah." Am I supposed to start shaking now and like, "Oh my God, she found my channel"? No, I was just like, mm-hmm. And she was like, "Oh, I can't believe you get paid that much to talk crap about women. I was like, get paid that much? You mean to tell the truth? I go, I just met you. You do not sit here and deduce my last 12 to 13 years of work. I told her it saved men's lives, stopped men from committing suicide. It even saved a lot of men's marriages. I make no apologies about that. That's all I am at the end of the day, is a truth teller. Our interaction was brief. And then he proceeded to date this woman. And I told him, I pulled him aside and I was like, okay, I know I'm not going to see this guy until the next meeting. It's like a month later or so. And I just said, dude, don't say I didn't warn you. Just like a father or a big brother telling a little brother. Don't say I didn't warn you. In his defense, he said, I want you to meet her because I want you to see that, like, she's actually pretty good looking, dude. She's gorgeous. You know how you talk about how, like, women our age like have all sorts of fillers and Botox and plastic surgery? She doesn't have any of that. She's like all natural, like you talk about, Matt. So that's the thing that captivated me about her. She's all natural and she's fun and she's cool and we have the same things in common. He started selling himself. I started talking to him like a student. I go, why are you selling me? I'm not dating her, you are. Now you're selling yourself. Don't do that. Just sit back and observe and see what she does. Because I said it's a matter of time before she does some single mom crap where all the sirens and the red flags and the alerts are going to be going off in your head like Matt was right. But to his credit, when I met her, she was all natural. So he didn't lie about that. And when I saw her, I could see why she gets a lot of attention. A lot of these single moms are not bad looking. I always say that. They're not bad looking. They're not ugly. Somebody knocked them up. So when I saw her, I said, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that she did not have any fake knockers, lip fillers, Botox, whatever. She was all natural, natural beauty. If this was 30 years ago, he found himself a winner. 30 years later, nah, this is a barn find. And I told him I could see why she gets a lot of attention. Definitely attractive. I would look at her. I don't think a lot of guys would kick this woman out of bed. She's a good looking chick, very fit body, tight body, let's put it that way. Very naturally attractive, I will say that, and no work. For the most part, she was pretty decent to talk to outside of trying to nag me about my channel. She's like, oh, I'm just kidding you. Yeah, now she started to submit a little bit when she saw I wasn't having it. She started to like loosen up and start joking with me. I wasn't going to give in to her. I'm like, I don't know you. I don't care to date you. You're at my meetup. I can just kick you right out of here if I don't like you. So she does real estate appraisal. She doesn't make a whole lot of money. I think she's living in an apartment. It's a nice apartment. It's in San Diego. Nice complex. I'm just going off what he's told me. I've never been there. And he's like, okay, yeah, but she doesn't have money. That was another thing. He said, it's not like she has toddlers. The kids are grown and they're out of the house. So he was trying to tell me that, oh, it's okay because she's not really a single mom anymore. The kids are grown out of the house. I'm like, that's great. The kids are grown and out of the house. You don't have to deal with her ex-husband. However, she is still a single mom. And now that the kids aren't even in the house, this is oftentimes worse because now she could just bring dudes over. Nonetheless, he doesn't listen to me. He goes off on dates with this girl. They're going on some pretty decent dates too because he has money. And that's another thing. I'm like, please, dude, I know you have money to burn. Try not to spend any money on her. Don't go anywhere extravagant, no cruises or anything like that. If anything, dinner, don't spend a whole lot of money on this chick. And so, of course, he wines and dines her. And she is proceeding to not really get physical with him. She's kissing him, holding his hand and all that, but she's not doing anything like crazy physical with him because at that age, she knows that this guy is going to toss me to the side of the road if I have sex with him. I told him, I said, I guarantee the chick's had a one-night stand. Nah, she's not even the type. Ask her. So what does he do? He asks her. And of course she tells him, yeah, I've had one-night stand right after my divorce. This guy told me we're going to do Netflix and chill. He totally lied to me. I went to his place and we ended up having sex and he never called me again. He totally used me. You know what? That's never going to happen to me again. I'm never going to let anybody use me like that. So of course, like any damaged woman, she's making him, who is now becoming the Brad, pay the price for the Chad. Oh, this is why I tell you, don't date these older women. Don't date these single moms because they will make you pay the price for their own mistakes. However, this guy is a cool guy. He's not like that. He's not going to try to use her or anything like that. I mean, he's just a good guy. And this is why I was a little protective over him. However, I don't tell people what to do, especially if they're familiar with my content. He's not in any of my programs, although he should be. I'm like, hey, she's going to end up single momming out on you at some point, right? She's going to vamp out on you at some point here, probably early on. So that'll be the good thing. And she proceeded to do that. After several dates, after like, I think they were dating like 2 months or something like that, But he didn't see her every day because he travels a lot for work. So that's another thing. He's not always available. And when he was available, that's the time that they would try to get together and go on dates. She totally obliged to go out with him and whatnot. So I did ask her when I first met her, what do you want with my friend? Why are you dating him? And then she's like, because I really am looking for a good guy. I want to get married again. I want to settle down. I don't like single life. I don't want to be single. I wanted to find a good guy to settle with. I'm like, okay, so you want to find a good guy to settle with that won't cheat on you and has a life together. And she said that. She goes, I want a guy who has his crap together, like your friend. I don't want to date these losers anymore, these bums, these guys who use me for sex, these guys who ghost me afterwards. I want a good guy. I feel like I deserve a good guy. I deserve. And I was just looking at her like, goodness, man, this chick sounds like a TikTok video already. However, she was really good looking. She has no problem getting guys. What she has a problem getting is a guy to commit to her, especially the right guy. The problem is my friend was that right guy, and I didn't want him committing to her. I'd rather him go for a much younger woman who will appreciate him, value what he brings to the table, and whatnot. And I think I even mentioned that to her too. And I was like, this guy's a really high status guy. He has a lot of options. Let me tell you that right now. And then she was like, oh, I know. It didn't feel like she was grateful to be one of those options, especially as a 54-year-old single mom. They date for a couple of months. Things are like going fine and everything. And he's thinking, see, dude, yeah, you were wrong. You were wrong. And I'm like, nah, give it a minute. Give it another date. Give it another date. Sure enough, it happened. These two decide to meet at a vacation spot. They both had to travel somewhere and they were going to meet there. And she was actually getting there a day ahead of him. He had work and he couldn't get there till the following day. So they get to their travel destination and you're thinking like, this is where it's going to happen, right? She's telling him like, hey, when you get here, I'm checking out of my hotel and I'm going to stay with you. And she was even telling him, make sure you have your STD report from your doctor and bring condoms. She said something like that. So he tells me this. I'm like, okay, sounds like it's on. He goes to meet her at this vacation spot. I think he checks into his hotel. He calls her and he's like, okay, where do you want to meet? I guess it was like a country bar or something like that. He goes, okay, I'll meet you there. She was saying that she was at a bar like beforehand, like a bar earlier. She was like, oh, there's this guy who's following me around here. And I told him I'm meeting my date. And he keeps following me around. My friend didn't think much of it. He was like, okay, well, tell him to get lost. I'll see you to the country bar. He goes to the country bar to meet up with her. He gets there. Right when he's walking inside, she like greets him with this big fat hug, like, oh my God, you're here. Yo, I've missed you. Gives him kisses and all that. And then they're walking over to the table and he sees a guy there and he's like, who's this? And then she's like, oh, remember that guy I told you about who followed me here? It's this big cowboy looking guy. And then he's like, yeah, why is he here? She was like, he's harmless. He won't leave. My friend goes, okay, well, let's go get another table. And she's like, no, I want to be at this table because it's right in front of all the music and everything. And he's like, no, I really don't feel comfortable with this. This dude hangs out on their date the entire night, not really disrespecting him, trying to hit on the girl, but he just is hanging out there the entire night. And at that point, what I would advise my student to do, because he did ask, he's like, what would you tell one of your students to do? I said, I would tell them to say goodbye. Let the guy have her. I'd be like, I'm not going to fight for this chick. She's showing you right now she's trash. Why would you even want to close her at this point? I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not hard up for sex at all. So I'd be like, see ya. You made your choice. And it turns out that this guy that followed her from the other bar, he's a bit younger. He was probably in his early 30s. She's a 54-year-old woman. So she's probably enthralled by the fact that this cowboy looking guy who's like 30 years old is like, oh my God, he could be my son's age. Damaged women get a big head over that. I was like, was he good looking? And he was like, yeah, he's a pretty decent looking guy. And I'm like, there you go, dude. There you go. The single mom crap is coming out. Any decent woman, I'm just talking about decent. Any decent woman would know if you're good looking, you're going to get hit on. She met this guy at the bar before this. The guy's trying to get in the Uber with her. Apparently that's what he tried to do. And she let him in the Uber with him. He's like, no, I'll pay half. I'll pay half. He kept making excuses to hang out. And she kept letting him. I'm like, any decent woman would have told the guy, like, look, I have a date. And she said she told him that, like, I have a date. And he kept following her. I'm like, she did not put her foot down. Any decent woman would have been like, hey, I told you I have a date. Please leave. Please leave me alone. Because that's even creepy in itself. I mean, the guy's following you now. It's like basically stalking you. And then he's coming with you when you have a date with another guy. So beyond her, what does that tell you about him? It tells you he has no morals. He has no ethics. He has no honor. I'm like, obviously, they deserve each other, dude. I hope you bounced. He didn't bounce. He was like standing there wondering what to do. He was like, do I tell the guy to leave? And I'm like, that is not your job. It is not your job to risk your life, get into a fight, get stabbed, or get shot over a single mom. It's not like she's your wife. She's just some girl you've been dating for the past couple of months. But now she's showing you her true colors, just like I told you. He was talking to this cowboy guy a little bit. What do you do for work? Whatever. I mean, he doesn't really have a job, doesn't really have money. He's just a young guy, decent looking guy, taller than him. This single mom that my friend is supposed to be dating, you know, acting as if like this is okay. He hangs out basically until they close because he's thinking that she is going to leave with him and check in to his hotel. But then she says, I don't check out till tomorrow. And then he goes, okay, so tomorrow you can check into my hotel. She's like, yeah. And then she leaves. The guy was like following her to her Uber and hopped in the same Uber again with her. They're basically supposed to be on this trip for each other. The following day, she doesn't message him at all, which was weird because this chick was blowing up his phone at one point. She was doing nothing but blowing up his phone. She really wanted him, right? She knew he's a high value, high status guy. She was used to blowing up his phone. Then the next day he tells me it was crickets. He was crickets, Matt. I did not hear from her at all, which is odd because she's supposed to come to my hotel in the morning with her bags and check in, right? Because her checkout's like at 10 or 11 a.m. She should have been at my place by 10 or 11 a.m. But here we are. It's like 2 in the afternoon, still hasn't heard from her. He goes, I messaged her and I said, hey, what's going on? And then she just replies back, oh, I got myself another hotel. I'm not going to be staying in yours. That was it. I mean, it was very, very cold. No warmth to it or anything. Unlike her previous messages, which he's shared with me and I saw him. I was like, yeah, there's no doubt she's into you. But as I always tell you guys, when it comes to these damaged women, and she's definitely damaged, when the BBD comes along, well, not really even the bigger, better deal, but the hotter guy, right? Basically the hotter guy. She has shiny object syndrome. They are going to jump. They're going to go for that. And I'm like, dude, I don't need to tell you where she is, right? Because you know she ran off with that guy. This guy who she doesn't even know. I'm like, cut her off. That's what I would do. To his credit, he was very quick to cut her off. Even though he was out there, he was like, I'm going to have fun. And he ended up going out and having a great time. And I think he met up with somebody else while he was out there. All he had to do was pick up his phone. One of his young hotties flew right out. She was out there, I think, probably within less than 24 hours. He had another woman there, like a younger woman. He replaced her. And he was like, Matt, you're right. You're always right about this stuff. Should have listened to you, dude. And he goes, but you know what? Like you said, you got to put your hand by the fire. It's hard when it's a beautiful woman. Yeah, she's definitely a good looking woman, but she's still a single mom. She's still a DG over 30 because if anybody wanted her, they would have put a ring on it. And she's such a fool. I don't know if my friend would ever married her or anything like that. This is how these women end up becoming single moms. They have these high value guys who are willing to commit to them. I don't know if my friend would have because he knows better, especially because he's watched a lot of my content. Again, not in any of my programs, but has watched a lot of my content. He knows how I feel about these type of women. I think at one point he even accused me in the very beginning when I first met him of generalizing. Think he thinks I'm generalizing now? No, because he sees it with his own eyes. Just like you guys, you see it with your own eyes. So make a long story short, I think this chick tried to reach out to him maybe like a couple of weeks later, probably after this 30-year-old cowboy dude was already done with her. But my friend had already cut her off. I think he had like blocked her. He sent her a message, not a nasty message, but just like a message shaming her. He told me what he put in the message and I thought it was all fair. I don't think any of it was nasty. There was no name calling. He was just saying that you are basically a low class person. What kind of woman does that? Clearly a single mom, like my friend says, I'm me. And here she is back at square one, already used by the cowboy. Cowboy probably had sex with her, slept with her during that vacation that he was supposed to be on with my friend. Probably just done with her, right? Because neither of them lived in that town. It was like a vacation area. So he's done. She's back in San Diego and she's like, oh, I don't have my forever man, my forever man. Probably getting on her TikTok like, oh, my forever man, I deserve him, I deserve him. No, you don't. Right? And this is what I can't stand by these single moms. And I wish I could just like talk to her and just rub this in on her face because she wanted to bark at me about my content, my YouTube channel. That's probably what's motivating me to do this video, was I didn't like how she approached me about this. Because I was like, is there anything that I say that's not true? I mean, you could tell me, right? You can't debate me on that. What I was saying about divorced women and single moms that was triggering her, she ended up being exactly that because he was right there for the conversation. He goes, oh, those things that she was like telling you you're wrong about, like, oh, you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't say that about women, and women who've had children aren't all like that. They're not all like that. She ended up being exactly like that. What a hypocrite. I hope you're watching this, bitch, right? I am talking about you. She ended up being a hypocrite. And you're a loser, by the way. You're a loser. You had a guy who was successful, who gave you an opportunity. I don't know if he would have ever committed to you. Let's be honest here, right? I think he would have woke up at some point and be like, hey, this is a single mom. I'm getting 22-year-olds who've never had kids, don't have stretch marks on their belly, don't have all this emotional baggage and all this. The nerve of her too. Oh, another thing my friend said was when they met up at that country bar and she greeted him in line, she's like hugging him and kissing him, and she's bringing him to the table while like they were standing there in private. She was trying to shame him and like, how dare you show up to our date empty-handed? Where's my flowers? Where's my candy? Man, he was like, lucky that I'm not violent. He was like, I could see some guys smacking the crap out of the girl for saying some stuff like that while you're standing here with another dude that you brought on our date. It's just so repulsive. I cannot say enough about these single moms, man. I hate to see it when it happens to you guys, especially if you follow my content and then you continue to date these single moms and they continue to act out exactly as I talk about in my videos. And many of you guys do share my videos with these women you're dating, and then they get mad at you for watching my videos and the things that I say, and they're like, oh my God, he's so wrong. Don't listen to him and all this. And then they end up doing exactly what they were complaining about that I was talking about in my video. They do exactly what they were getting triggered by. And they prove themselves to be complete hypocrites, right? As this single mom did. And so, yeah, the nerve of her, right? She was like asking, where's my flowers? Where's my candy? As you stand here with another dude that you brought on your date. How would she have reacted if you showed up to your date with her with some woman who was trying to pick you up at the bar previous, and you let her get in the Uber with you and follow you over to the country bar, and then she comes to your table and there's this woman just standing there, some cute, good-looking, hot young woman standing there, and she tells you to get rid of her, and you go, no, she's harmless. She's just gonna hang out with us. It's fine, don't worry. Harmless, harmless. And then the next day you ditch her, right? When you're supposed to go stay with the chick, you ditch her to hang out with the younger girl. How would she feel? Right? He was like, she would be pissed. I would never hear the end of it. I go, exactly. Like most single moms out there, she's a hypocrite. Most modern women out there, complete hypocrites. Most damaged women, complete hypocrites. She's all three. Modern woman, single mom, and over 30. Well over 30. She's 54. He's 54. They're the same age. And that was another thing he was trying to sell me. I was like, oh, we're both 54. We have the same things in common. You know, basically what the AFCs do. And like, oh my gosh, you know, she remembers Billy Idol or whatever, right? She remembers tape deck, cassette players. I don't care, dude. Date younger women. They're not damaged. They will appreciate what you bring to the table. I mean, this chick, this dumb single mom, you have a guy who, again, is successful, has a Lamborghini just like mine, nicer one, has homes, has a lifestyle that you would want to be part of, that any woman would want to be part of. Yet here you are, just basically throwing that away because some good-looking Chad came along with a cowboy hat. You cannot make this stuff up, guys. Regardless, if you're still dating single moms, man, again, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you, you probably don't have a unicorn on your hands, okay? Probably don't. So I'm going to wrap up here, guys. As always, drop your comments below, and I will see you in my next coaching video. I'm out.